What's going on, everyone, and welcome to Movie Emporium's Best Films of 2020. Now, before we begin, hey, if you like this channel, awesome, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium, hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome, hit that like button, and comment below any video that you watch, including this one. So, the year of 2020 has, in a nutshell, as I've said before, been a very shitty year. It's been a crappy year. It's been a year of the pandemic, and a year of people losing their jobs. I actually lost one of the jobs I had. It's been a year just of viruses and just everything that can happen just went south quick. And it's also been a year where I've been able to see quite a few films that I would have never seen before, or because they were in the festival circuit and it's really expensive to go through the festival circuit, would never have been able to afford to go to. But the one nice thing that did happen is a lot of these films that are in my top 10 list were able to be watched through streaming services. A lot of films I did pay for to watch and so on and so forth. And a lot of these films people have either never heard of or will be pushed to 2021, like my top two films. And it's just been a crazy year. It really has. But the also crazy thing about this list is there's 17 films that I had to whittle down to 10 films that I consider the best. And it made for a very hard chopping block of a process that I was not expecting. I was not expecting by the time 2020 ended, after March hit, that I would have these many films that I would consider the top of the year, because it just never happens. So I will do my best not to make people mad, because there are films in my honorable mentions that didn't make my top 10 that are in people's top 10. Some of them are number one. And it's just my personal opinion and what I thought was the best of the year. So without further ado, let's talk about some honorable mentions. And I don't want to name all 7, so if there's films I leave off, I apologize. But these 3 or 4 films could have been number 10 on my list. It was just how it worked out. The first honorable mention is Soul. Just saw this during Christmas. I thought it was fantastic. Another winner from Pixar. It was an emotional film that is definitely worth its weight in gold. The next honorable mention is The Trial of the Chicago 7. This was at number 10 for quite a while, but then there was another film that, number 10 has always been one of those films that has pushed, from, depending on like my kind of taste and so on and so forth. But Trial of the Chicago 7 was at number 10 at one point. It kind of got eked out by another film. So it's a great film. Definitely should check it out. The next one is Mank. Mank was a highly anticipated film that I was looking forward to. I think the movie overall just didn't hit me as hard as I wanted it to, but it's still a great film. I was going to put it in my top 10, but once again, it was really hard. And the other, actually, I'm going to name 2 more. The second of the last 2 is Ma Rainey's Black Bottom. I think that movie is more in the essence of, Chadwick Boseman and Viola Davis's performance than it is for the movie, which the movie is amazing as it is. But those two characters kind of outweigh the whole entire film, and they'll get Oscar nominations, so on and so forth. And the last one was a film that I actually forgot about, which was Palm Springs, which was a fantastic film that had Andy Samberg in it and Christine Milioti, and it's just a great film. That's going to be a film that's going to in a lot of people's top 10, which actually a lot of the other films, but... So that'll do it. That'll be my honorable mentions for 2020. It's a good eclectic set of films. Like I said, some of these films will be in other people's top 10. It's just the way the year shifted out. So, but with that, let's not wait any further, and let's go ahead and head into number 10 of my top 10 of 2020, which is... So at number 10 is a film that originally wasn't in my top 10. It wasn't until I actually saw Wolfwalkers a second time that I truly became awe-inspired by this film, which is from Cartoon Saloon and is directed by Tom Moore and Ross Stewart. It's a film that is just... It's an amazing piece of work to watch. It's well crafted. It has a lot of heart, and it has a folk story, which is what Cartoon Saloon is known for doing. It's just another level of magic that is being performed on the screen. And from the minute go of the second time I watched this, and even the first time I watched this, the movie is just incredible to look at. The art style is just so unique. And it's a film that, if you haven't seen, I highly recommend it, because it's a film that rivals Pixar in a lot of aspects on their mood and their pacing and just the heart and nature of the film itself. But it's an incredible piece of work, and it's one of the best of the year. So at number 10, I have Wolfwalkers, and so at number 9, I have... So at number 9 is a film that I knew from the minute I watched it at the Miami Gems Film Festival was going to be a very important, very well-liked, very loved film, and that, of course, is Sound of Metal. And I think it's a film that is truly kind of important because it deals with subject matter that doesn't get a lot of love in a lot of respects, which is, being deaf and so on and so forth. But I think the true remarkable thing about it is how good Riz Ahmed is in the movie. It's a career-defining performance from him, which he has already had great performances and stuff like The Night Of. But the one thing that even I overlooked when I first watched it and gave my review for it was how good Paul Raci is in it. And he is getting a lot of love right now and a lot of Oscar buzz, and he truly deserves it because he gives a performance of the ages for somebody who I'd never heard of before. And it's just a movie that you watch a guy who just loses everything. He loses his whole entire career because he didn't take care of his hearing, and you watch like a metamorphosis of a guy who just his career just he has to rebuild himself up. He has to just kind of deal with the fact that he can no longer hear and just kind of the mistakes he makes, which truly is a remarkable performance from, like I said, Riz Ahmed. So if you haven't seen it yet, it's on Amazon Prime, and it's definitely worth a watch. So definitely check out Sound of Metal if you haven't seen it yet. But that's my number 9, Sound of Metal, and at number 8, I have... Oh, so the Golden Globes, how you do suck. Why the Golden Globes decided that this movie was going to be only a foreign film when it is mostly in English, and because the characters are Asian American characters is a really weird thing to say. It's one of the main problems with the Golden Globes is they're so tone deaf. But with that said, Minari is my number 8 film of the 2020. It's a film that is really powerful. It's a film that has such amazing performances. The little kid in the story is amazing. This is a career defining performance from Stephen Young. His wife. It's a movie that really shows the true nature. Actually, this has been quite an interesting year as I talk about it, where a lot of these films on my list are about human nature and human condition, and this is truly a story about what it takes to keep a family together and the struggles of the American dream. And to watch these characters, watch the grandparent, the grandmother, how they just kind of coexist in this world that is so different than what they're used to. It's a performance. It's a movie, and it's filled with performances that are truly Oscar worthy, and it's such an incredible piece of work. And the movie is just, it wraps you around like a warm blanket and just lets you kind of envelop yourself in this family. So Minari is such a fantastic film. If you haven't seen it, definitely check it out. I don't think it's actually released on VOD yet, but when it does, definitely give it a check out. So but at number 8 I have Minari, and number 7 I have... So, ever since I've been doing a top 10 list for my review channel, Movie Emporium, there's always been one film that nobody else puts on their top 10 list that I had to put on my top 10 list. The first year was Mandy, last year was, of course, Climax. And to not want to talk about this being in my top 10 list would be a crime, because Brandon Cronenberg's Possessor was an incredibly amazing film. Very, very disturbing, very, very violent, very just insane. Andrea Riseborough is just a fantastic actress. Christopher Abbott was in another film I really enjoyed, which was Black Bear. He's also fantastic. Same thing with Jennifer Jason Leigh. And it's just a film that takes its subject matter and just kind of runs with it. The idea that these people, especially Andrea Riseborough, is able to inhabit other people to commit, hit jobs and stuff like that on. It's a pretty crazy film. It's a film that's not going to be for everyone, like Mandy and Climax. It's just a very difficult film to watch. But I think Brandon Cronenberg, who I think did Viral, Antiviral, I think it was, is just giving us a crazy bonkers movie that I just truly love 100%. This is a film that I was, expecting to really hate, and I end up truly loving it. So it's a crazy movie. It's an entertaining movie, and there's nothing like it. So there you go. So at number 7 is Possessor, and we'll head to number 6, which is... So in the year 2020, I actually saw more documentaries than I saw in like the last 10 years. It's just because, I was given screeners and so on and so forth. And I saw some really good ones like Zappa and Spaceship Earth, and of course Time, which is on Amazon Prime. But no other documentary hit me as hard as Collective did. And Collective, of course, is about that Collective nightclub fire that killed like a lot of people in Romania. And it's a film that I don't think a lot of people have seen or really know the kind of the true nature of what happened, the kind of disaster nature of the Romanian healthcare system, and the kind of big companies, big brother companies and stuff like that. The failings of the government itself. To watch this guy who comes in as a fresh behind the ears guy that just can't do anything because the government is so corrupt. To watch like this, these hospital managers that are corrupt as well. It was a very disheartening documentary. It was a very sad documentary, but it was one of the best, most eye-opening documentaries I saw this year, and I've learned a little bit more since I've watched the movie. And nothing's changed. It really hasn't. It's like living in America. Nothing changes, no matter how hard you try. Sometimes it just seems like nobody cares, and it's just a brutal film to watch. It really is. But it's one of the best films because it truly gives you an experience that you sometimes don't want, but sometimes you need to watch. So if you have a chance to watch this, I can't. I think it may be also on Amazon Prime or something like that. It's on one of the streaming services, but definitely check it out. It's definitely worth your hour and 38 minutes or whatever it's on. So definitely check out Collective. So, but with that said, that's my number 6, and my number 5 is. So this film at number 5 was a film that I know a lot of people either haven't seen still or won't ever put in their top 10. But the Night Stream Film Festival actually brought out some really interesting kind of creative horror films that I was really happy I watched. I got to give a shout out to the Night Stream Film Festival and what they did. But the funny thing about that film festival was there was a trailer for this movie Frank Zed that was sent out as an email for people to get interested and so on and so forth. And I love stuff like Avenue Q and these films where the puppeteers are creating some magic in the different strange ways. And so I decided to buy my digital ticket for this movie. And after watching this film, I can truly say this is one of the greatest horror films I've ever seen. It's directed by Jesse Blanchard. It's filled with some amazing puppeteers. It's a film that truly just embodies the spirit of what horror is and just kind of runs with it. You have these two characters, Frank and Zed, who are this dead zombie guy and this Frankenstein style creature, and they're in the middle of a blood situation, a blood moon situation, and it has a lot of heart. It's very inventive. It's very gory and violent, and it's just an amazingly, incredibly put together film that needs more love than it's getting, because this movie needs to be released on whatever streaming VOD service it needs, because this truly is one of those films that I think if it gains the audience that it should will truly be one of those classic horror films that definitely deserves it. And it's in my top 10 because it's just such a magical, fun, and crazy experience that Jesse Blanchard, like I said, is just what they've created is just an amazing piece of material. So if you haven't heard of Frank and Zed, I definitely understand. But if you get a chance and it ever releases on VOD, definitely check it out because you will have one hell of an entertaining time. I turned on quite a few people to this movie who were really happy who were really happy they did get turned on to this movie. And yeah, it's a movie that definitely deserves to be in my top 10. So it's one of those films, like I said, won't be in a lot of people's top 10, but it's a film I think is incredible. So at number 5, I have Frank and Zed. And so at number 4, we have... So at number 4 has one of my favorite performances of the year, and that's Carey Mulligan's performance in Promising Young Woman. There's a lot of people who are going to put this as number 1 of the year, and I totally understand. It's an incredible film. But this movie is led just by how incredible Carey Mulligan is in the performance of this woman who's taking a vendetta quest against people that wronged her and her friend. And to watch her kind of like sleek her way through this world to kind of, put men to shame. The fact that it just holds no bars and takes no prisoners and what it's trying to do. And there was a tweet put out, I can't remember who it was put out by asking, what did you think of this ending? I think the ending is masterclass. I think the ending is perfect. And I think it just truly embodies what this film is doing, which is being awesome and revengey and just trying everything to be just cool and collective. And truly, like I said, the performances of Carey Mulligan is second to none. It's one of the great performances of the year. So there's like 3 or 4 performances that are great this year, but my God, Carey Mulligan in Promising Young Woman is incredible. So definitely get a chance if you have a way to see it in the theater. See it in the theater. But it should be out early next year to watch on VOD. So yeah, Promising Young Woman at number 4. Definitely check it out. So anyways, we'll head to number 3, which is... So number three was originally my number one for like the longest time, and that of course is Chloe Zhao's Nomadland. I had a lot of back and forth whether I wanted this to be number three or whether I wanted the other film to be number three. It basically came down to performances and storytelling, and number three is an incredible film. Like I said, Nomadland is an incredible film. It's a film filled with great performances from people like Frances McDormand and Swanky and David Strathairn. It's a film that is truly like Americana in its heart nutshell. Chloe Zhao is just, she's on a whole different level. Like I said, that's why Internals is my in my top 10 of like most anticipated, even though I haven't done that video, hasn't posted yet, because it's an incredible look at just the kind of life of individuals who just keep traveling and just keep moving and don't settle down in one specific place. And like I said, Frances McDormand just once again proves why she's one of the greatest actresses in the history of film. It really is, and it's just an incredible piece of art, an incredible movie, and it comes out in like I think February, so it's definitely a film you should check out if it when it comes out, if it comes out VOD or theaters. But definitely check out Nomadland if you can. Definitely worth a watch. So number three is Nomadland, and number two is. So number two is a film that's directed by Regina King, that's written by Kent Powers, who of course wrote Soul. This was a film which is One Night in Miami, which is a fictional story, but it is a movie about four heavy hitters in the African American world, which include Malcolm X, which include Sam Cooke, Jim Brown, and of course Cassius Clay, Muhammad Ali. And it's a film that truly was a remarkable experience to watch. Ben Kingsley Adir and Lamar Odom Jr. give like titan performances. There's a scene in this movie similar to what Brian Tyree Henry did in If Beale Street Could Talk, where Malcolm X's character, which is Ben Kingsley Adir, goes on this emotionally resonant story that lasts for like 5 to 6 minutes, and it is powerful, it is emotional, and it is truly representative of how the African American culture is represented in America even to this day. And to watch also Leslie Odom Jr., who won a Tony for in Hamilton, gives us just incredibly remarkable performance. It's just, you watch all these characters, and of course there's Eli Gorey and of course Aldous Hodge, who played Jim Brown and Muhammad Ali. But the two performances from Leslie Odom Jr. and of course Ben Kingsley Adir are Oscar level performances. They've kind of been overshadowed by a lot of other films that have come out this year, but this is a film that truly deserves a watch whenever it comes to. I think it comes out in January on Amazon Prime, but it is truly a remarkable film to watch these characters interact with one another, the different mentalities that they have, how they kind of fight with one another, just the nature of the different experiences that they go through. It's an insanely great movie. It really is. And Regina King gets all the love that she deserves because she's fantastic as a director. That was completely it blew me out of my seat how good her directorial performance is. And of course Kent Powers is giving a great script based off his play, but it's a very powerful movie, and it deals with a lot of hard subject matter, and it's one of the best of the year. It really is. It's highly recommended if you haven't seen it. So that's at number two, which is One Night in Miami. And so here we are at number one. This is a film that completely caught me off guard. I was not expecting anything from it, and let's talk about number one, which is. So to get to number one of my top 10 list is a hard thing to do because I watch a lot of films, and a lot of films just never would reach the heights of certain films. So to have a truly like unique experience, to have a truly revolutionary experience, to have a movie just kind of just blow you away is hard to do. So when films like Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse come out, it's a film that truly is setting itself above and beyond the heights of what could be possible. And I'm not saying that this movie at number one, The Father, is original, but the use of the Alzheimer's, the use of time, the use of the idea of what Anthony Hopkins is going through, the fact that he is struggling to keep comprehensive of the world around him, and to watch how good of this is. He's already had career-defining performances in Silence of the Lambs, but I truly and honestly believe this is the best performance that Anthony Hopkins will ever give, because it is truly a climatic titan revolutionary performance to watch him just go from scene to scene to scene. There's points in this movie where he'll be talking, he'll turn around, and he's in a completely different environment because his Alzheimer's or his kind of mind is just physically going away. There's people that shift in and out of his reality. It's just to watch this movie, which unfortunately hasn't been released on VOD yet, it's supposed to release soon, it's just breathtaking to watch. And Florian Zeller's direction is incredible. It's a movie that is just so remarkably different and so unique and so powerful. And like I said, Olivia Colman once again just gives a career-defining performance of a film that she has to struggle with what he's going through, and she seems to be the only one there for him. And just to watch her kind of mentality break down as she sees her father just kind of losing it. When you watch stuff like The Favorite and you see how good she is, which she was fantastic in that, this is a film that definitely deserves all the love that it's probably going to get with director, and I hope with director and actor and actress. I think Chadwick Boseman's going to win over Anthony Hopkins, but I think when you watch this film and you watch the kind of puzzle pieces and kind of the maze that it's presenting itself and how it's kind of unfolding that maze and kind of unfolding the Rubik's Cube that is Anthony Hopkins' mind in the movie, it's an incredible performance. It's an incredible film. It's just an incredible film to watch, and it makes you emotional. It makes you heartbreak, and I've already talked about it in my review, but it's something. It really is. So, number one is The Father. Like I said, it was one of those films that once I watched, I knew it was going to be number one. I knew it was going to take over Nomadland. And because One Night in Miami had come out, it was the unfortunate fact that it moved down to number three. But when you get a chance, whenever The Father comes out, whenever that happens, definitely watch it, rent it, do whatever you need to do to see it, because it will be something that you have never seen before, and it will be a truly unique experience on the sad disease that is unfortunately Alzheimer's. So, but yeah, there you go. That is the top 10 films of 2020. Like I said, there will be a different list for everyone. My list is completely different than the person next to me who loves movies. But like I said, whatever list you have, you can't go wrong in 2020 because it's been an incredible year for movies. It's just sad that it came in a year that's been a very crappy year. So, but with that said, there you go. That would be my top 10 of 2020. Thank you so much for watching, and also look forward to my most anticipated of 2021, which I hope some of those films finally come out like No Time to Die. But there you go. That's my top 10 films of 2020. Thank you so much for watching. In the comments below, what's your favorite film of the year? No judgment. Whatever it is, let me know. But if you like what you see on this channel, hit the subscribe button to join Movie Emporium. Hit that notification bell at the top to find what's coming next. If you like this video, awesome. Hit that like button. And we'll see you tomorrow for the most anticipated list of 2021. Peace out.